Inside Out.
Inside Out is presented by HTC. This is Life. Connect with it. And Magnolia's at 26th for good old-fashioned Southern comfort food where Mama eats. Along with the McGuire Law Firm. Be kind today and tomorrow.
Welcome to April's Inside Out. We've got some great features for you, including the Bluefield Blueberry Farm. We're going to learn all about disc golf, the Pawleys Island Festival of Music and Art. We're going to meet up with Chef Humberto at the International Culinary Institute of Myrtle Beach, and we're going to find out about a new book on animal tales. Very endearing stories from a very endearing woman. But right now we're headed to Conway. We're going to meet up with one of Conway's most outstanding citizens. You're going to love Kaye Hearn. One of Horry County's greatest citizens is with us right now. She's a public servant like no other. Kaye Hearn joins us, and we're honored to have you here on our show, Kaye. And a lot of people, of course, know you intimately because you're that kind of person here in Conway. You've opened your heart and your home for so many occasions in this community. But I want you to tell us a little bit on how you got started to become the second woman on the South Carolina Supreme Court.
Well, Diane, first of all, it's great to be here. Thank you. It's a little unusual beginning. I grew up in the Allegheny Mountains of Pennsylvania with dreams of becoming a ballerina. And so it's sort of an interesting path, a journey, whereby I ended up down here and on the South Carolina Supreme Court. But so I'm not one of those people that grew up thinking I would be a judge, far from it.
But there's been a lot of steps along the way that has led you there. You served right here in Horry County for a number of years.
I did. In 1986, at the age of 36, I became a family court judge. And at that time, I joined only 2 other women out of approximately 100 state court judges. So it was a different time. It was a fun time. Women were just coming into their own in the practice of law and in the judiciary. Now, women make up almost 40% of our state court judiciary. So I like to say we've come a long way, baby.
You and George are both attorneys. Your daughter is an attorney. It must be fun around the dinner table.
There's no shortage of conversation. We all talk at the same time. It's kind of like that old game of Pit, if you ever played it. That's the way our house is.
I want you to tell people about the Supreme Court. A lot of folks don't understand how a case gets to the Supreme Court and what are some of the topics that you're dealing with currently.
It's a great question. First of all, we're an appellate court. We are the highest court in the state. There are 5 of us on the court. When I was first elected to the court a little over 10 years ago, I joined one other woman, Jean Toll, who was then the Chief Justice. So we like to say we were the bookends of the court. She was number 1 and I was number 5. Jean has since retired due to mandatory retirement. So for the past several years, I've been the only woman on the court. But we hear appeals from the trial courts, family court, circuit court, both civil and criminal. We do all the criminal cases up to and including the death penalty murder cases. We do things like public utility rate increases, taxation cases, voter and election law cases, and we run the whole gambit of civil cases. Basically, there are 2 ways that a case can get to our court. One is through the process of certiorari, where it's already been to the Court of Appeals, which is our second highest court, and that court has issued a decision. We take a look at that decision. We're asked to take a look at it, see if we think it's correct, and if we think we might want to take a closer look at it, then we do what we call take cert, or certiorari of it. So some of our cases come to us from the Court of Appeals. Others bypass the Court of Appeals and come straight to us, like a death penalty murder case. Cases that need a quicker resolution, the voter and election law cases I mentioned, come straight to us. And then there's that rare case, there's really a third category I hadn't really thought of until just this moment, that come to us directly, and that is cases we take in our original jurisdiction. And circling back to Horry County and my home in Myrtle Beach, the very first case that I sat on at the Supreme Court in January of 2010 was a case that had been taken in our original jurisdiction involving the Myrtle Beach motorcycle helmet law. So that was my first case I sat on. We take a case in our original jurisdiction such as that doesn't need to go in front of a jury or have a judge decide anything. It was just a simple question of whether Myrtle Beach could have its own motorcycle helmet law. So that gives you an idea of what it is we do. But we don't hear witnesses, we don't try the case. Usually that's already happened.
What are you most passionate about, though, about your job? What is the greatest part that touches your heart?
Well, my greatest passion is really for my law clerks. They're bright young lawyers that we are lucky enough to get to work for us for a period of a year or two. They're usually at the top of their class. They're brilliant, they're excited about the law, and they keep me excited about the law. But as far as a passion for my work, it would probably be just for justice. I'm passionate about justice, and every case I'm working on, at the time I'm working on it, I usually get pretty excited about it, which is fun.
Well, speaking of fun, I want to lighten it up a bit, and there aren't many TV shows that would give Kaye an opportunity to brag about her grandson.
Well, I do have a grandson.
He's pretty incredible.
He is pretty incredible, and I have totally become that kind of grandmother. I'm always showing pictures of him and bragging about him. But his name is James Marshall Jeffries. He's a red-haired little boy. He's funny. He's got music in his soul. Even though he's just a year old, he's always moving around, and we're just crazy about him.
He's feisty like the rest of the Hearn family.
He is.
And
feisty.
His dad's a little feisty,
That's
too.
That's true.
Lane.
And his mama is a Leo, and she's definitely feisty.
So when it comes to home life, who has jurisdiction here, you or George? I mean, he is an attorney. He can be pretty forceful when he needs to be.
Well, we take turns. We take turns being boss. And I used to say that he got to make the big decisions, like whether we declared war on China or something like that. And I made all the other little decisions. But I think it's fair to say that we take turns. I remember when we were courting, his father came in and we were trying to decorate a Christmas tree, and we were both telling each other how to do it. And my future father-in-law said, the problem is there are too many chiefs here and no Indians. But that has been the story of our life, and we've worked it out. Kind of like you and Chuck.
You guys have really done a great job, too, with this beautiful home, and I know all the neighbors must be thrilled with what you did with a very old home, the way you've added on. And what style is this?
This is a Queen Anne Victorian home. It was built before the turn of the 20th century, back in the 1890s. And we feel it's such an honor to have it.
10 fireplaces.
10 fireplaces.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, it goes on, and you've added on. It's just magnificent.
Well, thank you so much. It's home.
I'm really excited, though, to announce to everyone that Kaye is going to be doing a one-woman show at the Theater of the Republic in May. Now, she and George have done some things on stage together, but this is a one-woman show, and it's kind of an interesting twist because there's politics involved, but she's nothing like you.
She's nothing like me, and I don't know why Tim McGee, bless his heart, thinks I could play her, but I'm going to do my best.
You're a great actress, that's
well,
why.
Thank you. I'm going to need some help. I might need some stilts because Ann Richards, who I'm playing, was 5'8" or 5'9", and she had big bouffant hair, and I'm 5'1" with almost no hair, but I'm going to get a really good wig.
Good for you.
But Ann Richards was a tough old bird, and she was tough talking. She was a feminist before her time, and she was the second female governor of Texas in the early 90s.
And flamboyant.
Flamboyant, bigger than life.
Now, do you agree with her political ideals? Will that be a stretch for you?
It will not be a stretch. She was all about equality for everyone. And she was a big promoter of women. She supported the Equal Rights Amendment when it was first introduced. So no, that will not be a stretch. It will be a stretch for me to appear 5'8" and with big hair, but I'm going to do my best.
We can get you some of those platform heels from the ones from the disco era that you and I used to wear.
Yes.
The show is going to run, May 14th, 15th, and 16th?
It is.
And folks can call the Theater of the Republic. We'll give you the number and the box office information so that you can get your tickets. And we want everyone to pack the house because the theater's been closed for this past year due to the pandemic, and the theater is struggling to keep their doors open. And that's why we're most grateful to people like Kaye who are giving up of their time to help keep the theater alive.
Oh, thank you, Diane.
And in wrapping up, Kaye, I just want to say thank you for all you do, not just for the theater, but for this community. And I know that even though you spent a lot of time in Columbia, your heart remains right here in Conway and Horry County.
Absolutely. I'm so proud to be from here, and I'm very happy I'm the first Supreme Court Justice from Horry County.
Bravo, Kaye. We love you. Thanks, Kaye. The Pawleys Island Festival of Music and Art is next on Inside Out.
As fellow community members, HTC knows the precious value of family time spent together. That's why HTC delivers faster speeds, 24/7 local tech support, and free Wi-Fi. No matter where the day takes me, HTC serves up the world-class high-speed internet you need to stay connected to your world. Because you are here, and so are we.
High-speed internet starting at 300 megabits per second and up to 1 gig for as low as $49.95.
HTC. This is life. Connect with it.
This segment of HTC Inside Out is presented by the McGuire Law Firm. Be kind today and tomorrow.
Coming up in October, it's the 30th anniversary of the Pawleys Island Festival of Music and Art. I'm proud to say that I MC this festival, and it's the highlight of the year for me and for most people throughout Horry and Georgetown counties, because this festival brings the best variety of arts to our community. Meet Susan Bryant. She handles sales and marketing for the festival. And Susan, I know that you're excited about this year not having had one last year.
We are so excited. That was such a hard decision to make, but we knew it was the right decision. So when we had to postpone it to this year, we were sad, but we're so excited this year that we get to have it. And I just think everyone's going to be ready to go out and hear live music again.
Absolutely. And this festival began under the auspices of someone who loved this community so very much.
Yes, Dr. Lee Minton, and this was 30 years ago. He decided that he wanted to bring cultural awareness to Georgetown County, and so he started these concerts in churches. I think St. Peter's Lutheran Church was the very first one, and people just loved it and thought this is something we really want to see continue, and that's when it evolved into the festival that it is now. And now we are under large performance tent, seats 1,000 people, and it's 3 weeks instead of just a night or two. So
the festival has so many different parts to it, and one of the best is the big eating fest. Let's talk about that, the wine and food.
Yes, we kick off with the Wine and Food Gala, the Pawleys Island. And this is our 21st year of the Pawleys Island Wine and Food Gala, and we have all these vintners who come, and you can just discover just incredible boutique wines. We have restaurants who do 9 different appetizers at all their stations. We have the reverse raffle that you and I participate in. People can win maybe $5,000. So they get to eat, they get to drink, they do silent auction, and it's like one of our biggest fundraisers of the year. And it really is a great kickoff to the whole festival season.
And then, of course, you always end with a sit-down dinner, but there's food and beverage throughout all of the concert events as well.
Every night. We have food trucks. We started that a couple years ago, and people really like it. We have tents set up. We have things set up for beverage, wine, beer, whatever you prefer. So, yeah, it's a real party atmosphere, very casual, real laid back. You can get what you would like, sit under the tent. You can sit outside the tent with lounge chairs. So there's just something for everyone.
Let's talk about some of the entertainment, because you all do such a great job, you and your sister Dolores, bringing to town so many different varieties of music in this one event.
And that's one of our missions of the of the board is that they want to have all different genres. And this year we're so excited. We're starting out with a tribute. It's called the Orlando Transit Authority, and it's a Chicago tribute. And people who love Chicago will love them. Almost every band that we have come, we have seen before, so we know what kind of talent they have and how they interact with the audience. The night after that, we have the Miracles, been around forever. A lot of people keep asking me, is Smokey coming? I'm like, no, Smokey's not coming, but they are some of the original Miracles.
Which is miraculous in itself.
It is, and they are phenomenal. And then we skip to the next week. We have Leo Tizer, who is a jazz artist that a lot of people are very familiar with. We have Black Market Trust. They are a group of guys who do all the old standards, Frank Sinatra, you name it. And people will the women and men, they will love them. Atlanta Rhythm Section, who's been around since the 70s, I think. That's already a very big ticket seller for us. So if you're interested in that, you definitely want to get your tickets. And then that weekend we end with Tavares, which is
Disco,
one of my favorite bands growing up, and tickets are really selling for Tavares as well.
We got to get a disco ball in the tent.
I think we should. Yes, definitely, and people will definitely be dancing. And the last weekend is we have the Texas Tenors coming, which they were a phenomenal group that won America's Got Talent. People are buying those tickets left and right. They're so excited they're coming to Pawleys Island. They've never been to Pawleys Island, so that's going to be really exciting. And then we have the Best of the Eagles tribute. So if you're an Eagles fan, you cannot miss that. And then we finish with what you described earlier, the tabled event. And the music this year is Destination Motown. So, people are going to decorate those tables and they're going to be dancing on the seats like they always do.
So many times people wait until the last minute, but over the past couple of years, many of the events have sold out and people were so disappointed. That's why we're doing this interview right now, because
Absolutely.
It's time to buy your tickets.
Yes. And you can go on our website, pawleysmusic.com, and each individual act is there. It will direct you to eTix, which is our ticketing company, and you can buy the tickets and the seats that you would like to choose. For the first time, we have seats that you actually choose your seat, and that is your seat that night. There's no more coming and trying to find your seat. It's not first come, first serve.
Oh, this is good, though.
So you're literally buying a seat. And then if you live here or if you want to come to all the concerts, then you really should invest in one of our membership packages, because if you wanted to come, let's just say, to all 9 concerts and you become a Muse member, you would get 2 seats for 2 people and for every concert, and it's like $495.
And then you can always give them to someone if you can't come.
Absolutely, but it is the most economical way if you're going to come to all the concerts. But we have individual concerts for sale, and those are wonderful, and a lot of people are here for the weekend. They're bringing guests, and that's what they want to do. And so we're really excited about this year's lineup. It's going to be great.
Coming up in May, you're a part of a wonderful organization, and Palmetto Giving Day has been so important to Georgetown County. Tell us about what that day is all about and how you're participating in it.
Palmetto Giving Day is a way for everyone who lives in this community and beyond to give back to all of the nonprofits that are in Georgetown County. And we participate in it because we have quite a bit of outreach that we do into the Georgetown County schools. So all of our entertainers who come do outreach. So we go into the schools. Even this year in January and February, we did Zoom shows into the schools with the entertainers that we had here in January and February. And even with the schools closed, we made it a point to have those entertainers interact with a choral group or with a band or with an orchestra. So when school's in session, we can seat. We've brought all the 5th graders to the tent one time to see some of the groups. We have gone into different elementary schools and middle schools and high schools, and they either do a whole show or they'll do a master class. It's all different types of things. And then in turn, we are trying to raise money. That's one of our largest parts of our mission, is we raise money to help these schools, because as you know, the arts are things that were cut from the schools for many years.
Sadly.
And we've bought violins, we've bought keyboards, we've bought choral binders, drum kits. We've sent kids to South Carolina State's chorus group. So this year for Palmetto Giving Day, we have taken a new program under our wings. It is called the Strings Program at Sandpit Elementary. And in that school, they had originally had a program where they had 11 violins and they had a part-time violin teacher. Well, the nonprofit that had that is no longer, so we have taken that under the realm of Pawleys Island Festival of Music and Art. So on Palmetto Giving Day, we're going to raise money to hire a new violin director. We're going to have all those violins restrung, and then we would like to add 10 more violins so that we can do a class of 20. And so throughout the May 4th and 5th, when we're raising money, and it doesn't matter if you want to come on and give $10 or $5 or $15 or whatever, a little bit will go a long way for us to raise the money to make this program work at Sandpit Elementary. And there's so many schools that need these things, and that's part of what we try to research and find out. What can we do in the arts, whether it's the visual arts or it's in the performing arts?
So if we'd like to contribute to Palmetto Giving Day, what do we do?
They just need to go online to palmettogivingday.org, and they'll be able to have a drop down. They'll see all the different places that they can give, but of course we would like for you to give to Pawleys Island Festival of Music and Art, and you can pledge any amount that you would like.
That's May 4th and 5th.
Correct.
Now, finally, the festival itself, the Pawleys Island Festival of Music and Art, certainly has some wonderful fundraisers during the year. I know you just finished one, and you got one coming up.
We did. We finished the Culinary Symphony this past Saturday night, which involves a lot of culinary groups, a lot of chefs, a lot of hosts and everything. And then coming up on April 25th, we have a new fundraiser called the Low Country Sunday Supper. And it is going to be a wonderful evening at Litchfield Plantation. We have 6 different chefs involved. We have 3 live bands. And it is just going to be a wonderful 6-course meal, good music, good food, and just
outdoors?
a good time. Outdoors, a Sunday supper.
Should be wonderful.
It's going to be great.
The Pawleys Island Festival of Music and Art. The dates?
October 7th through the 23rd.
Don't miss it. Go to pawleysmusic.com and get your tickets. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you so much.
Chef Humberto is coming up with a really neat dish. Stay right there.
The bedrock principle that drives our law firm is our unyielding dedication to working for the best interests of our clients.
The whole staff of the firm were very welcoming and nurturing to us. Everyone in the family was cared for.
This firm has made us feel so welcome and comforted, stepping us through and making us feel like family.
We will take care of you and make sure that you're treated fairly and treated properly.
This month's video features dandelions. They start out yellow, but then they turn into this. Welcome to the International Culinary Institute of Myrtle Beach, out at Market Common, formerly Horry Georgetown Technical College. This is the Culinary Arts Department, and they're doing so many wonderful things. And Chef Humberto is going to demonstrate for us some things I have never heard of. That's what I asked for today. I wanted him to teach us something new. And you're going to take 2 beautiful proteins and do what with them?
Well, we're gonna do a mosaic, right? We're gonna kind of glue them together, and with that, we use transglutamine, all right, which is a protein that once it binds with other proteins, it starts creating enzymes that joins their both fibers and create one protein.
It looks like salt.
It is a very fine mixture, all right, a lot thinner than salt. All right, so in this case, what we're gonna do, we're gonna have a beautiful tuna loin that we're gonna cut into long strips. And in here, we have already some smoked salmon that our students did in our garde-manger class a few weeks ago.
So it's a mosaic. It's the putting together, you said, of two proteins.
Yes.
I've never heard of this.
Well, it's something that is trending a little bit, and it's something that could be done in various ways. I mean, for example, today we're going to do it in a crudo style, meaning raw, but you can sear it off and have it served warm.
Of course, we've all heard of, surf and turf and things like that, but he's actually going to put them together magically. So you're a magician too.
Not a magician, but the combination of science and culinary is a great thing, So right now what I'm doing is I'm making the transglutamine, and I'm gonna use leek ash. And this is something really unique. Normally we take the top part of the leek, the greener part of the leek, and we kind of put it in the compost. But this is a way that we can utilize the whole thing. We take it out, we clean it, we put it in the oven, all right, until it's nice and charred. Usually it takes 4 hours. And then we grind it in a coffee grinder. And that way, it becomes a nice ash. So this is gonna be a nice grayish color that is gonna be in between each of the fish pieces.
Humberto, does the ash still taste oniony?
It tastes a little bit oniony, but it gives that charcoaly flavor, that smoky flavor that, in South Carolina we like. I'm gonna put some smoked paprika and some salt in here. And now, this is gonna be ready to mix all together and start the mosaic process. So what we're doing right now is we're gonna kind of like bread it. All right?
Just rolling it, huh?
Just rolling it like that. It's really simple.
Tell me what's your specialty out here. Is there a certain area that you specialize in the way of teaching students?
Well, I love all things culinary. That's my passion. But in here in the ICI, I love teaching nutritional cooking, as I believe that we are what we eat. Food can make us healthy or
drag us down.
Yes, I like that one. Drag us down. All right. So other classes that I teach is garde-manger, but I also am creating a new molecular gastronomy class that is going to be very interesting, where we're going to expose all these techniques to the students so they can learn and have, their creative side awaken.
I also know that the facility here is teaching courses into the school district.
Yes.
And I think that's fascinating because you're getting high school students interested in the culinary arts and perhaps recruit them into the program upon graduation.
Yeah, this is a new kind of venture that we're doing that is great, because virtually we're going to be connecting to all 50 high schools in the states of South Carolina. It's going to be great for the students that are interested in high school students that are interested in culinary,
I think it's tremendously exciting. I think if more people were introduced to various careers in high school, they'd be a lot better off.
Exactly, yeah.
And know what they want.
So now I have this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it really nice and tight, all right? And I'm going to put pressure on each of the sides, right? So they could be bind. Now, these, for the enzymes to work, you want to freeze these for at least 24 to 48 hours. And then you take it out of the freezer, and then you can slice it, and it'll be holding by itself. Let me show you. I'm gonna do TV magic in here now.
I bet
All right?
he's been freezing along the way. He was up all night freezing us a log, I'm sure.
Yes, yes. And as a matter of fact, I have it right in here.
It kind of reminds me of sushi.
Well, it could be
maybe if it's raw,
interpreted
yeah.
as a sashimi.
Sure.
A version of a sashimi, right? So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cut this in here, all right? And you can see in here.
Oh, how pretty.
All the different.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna cut a little piece in here, and I'm gonna reserve it. Now it's very important that we don't utilize plastic in our diet. It's not good for our gut. No.
Not good nutrition.
Not good nutrition. So I'm gonna remove this plastic. Now what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna show you how to do a bracelet.
Oh, a bracelet like that you wear?
Well, yes and no.
You eat a bracelet?
A bracelet that you can eat, all right?
I'm ready.
So
that way when you're hungry during the day, you just do.
Exactly.
I like it.
Now, what we want to do is going to utilize something that is very accessible, that is a rice paper. All right? With this, we do summer rolls.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I've had summer rolls. Yeah, love them.
I have in here a little water, okay? And I'm just going to hydrate them a little bit so I can stick one and on top of each other, right? So this is going to be something that is going to be very easy and also very useful in our dish, because we are going to put some texture in our dish with our mosaic. So now, as you see in here, I have this one already hydrated. I'm going to hydrate this one again. And by hydrating it, all right, the rice paper is going to be kind of sticky.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to help us bind it. We don't need anything but that. Now, to make it really artful and beautiful, we have from our garden some panises. All right, some beautiful edible flowers that I'm going to take, a baby arugula, micro arugula that was grown in our gardens, and we actually pick it up this morning for you guys. So it is as fresh as they come.
That's going to make this very colorful.
Yes. So now with this, I am just going to come in here, leave this in here because I'm going to use it for my Play-Doh. But I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it right on top of each other. And as you can see, look, it is very clear.
Artsy.
Very artsy. I like that word. I'm going to use it. That's the second word that I'm going to be borrowing for you.
Oh, you,
right?
yeah. Listen, I'll teach you anything you want to know.
Perfect. So now I'm just going to cut it. I mean, obviously we can do many at once in here, but just for the sake of time, we're just going to do one really quick. All right? And now I have a ring mold in here that I'm going to take and I'm going to wrap it around it.
Bracelet. I've been waiting to see where this all came together.
Now, we can fry this on a low temperature oil, or we can put it in the oven at 120 for 4 hours, and then we can dehydrate it. All right? So whatever is your preferred, you can do it, right? So now let's say the magic of television, abracadabra, and I'm going to dehydrate it. All right? I'm going to dehydrate it in here. But I have some already done for you.
Oh,
You see, they're very
delicate and beautiful.
But the crunchiness is going to add another dimension to our mosaic. What I'm going to do, all right, we're going to have the bracelet. We are going to have our mosaic. But I have a few other surprises in here for you. We have in here herb oil. We have in here a carrot and ginger puree, but this is black garlic puree, all right? Which basically is by fermenting our garlic, and you want to do it in an exterior, because if not, it's going to have a big, strong remnant in your home. I'm going to put my tuna mosaic in here. I'm going to put this bracelet in here. And you're not going to fall, okay? You have to talk to your food sometimes,
Oh, listen,
okay?
yeah, I talk to it all the way down. I always say, keep me thin, keep me thin. That's what I say when I'm swallowing.
I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna put this black garlic that after it's fermented, it is actually a very sweet element. So you will have all these different things in your
beautiful
plate. Don't fall. There we go. That's it.
It is beautiful.
A tuna mosaic with a beautiful rice bracelet, puree carrots.
Smoked salmon.
Yeah.
Everything's there. It's unique, it's different, it's exactly what I asked for. Humberto, you know what I say? Bravo, bravo.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. For folks who want to know more about attending classes here at ICY, as we call it, the International Culinary Institute of Myrtle Beach, there's the scoop. All right, I want to come back one day when you'll do nothing but Puerto Rican food for me.
That's a treat. That's a deal.
Yum. Thank you, my friend. If you love animals, you'll love the heartwarming tales in a new book coming up next on Inside Out.
Are you ready for the next level of TV entertainment? Thought so. I'm talking innovation. I'm talking TV game changer. I'm talking HTC TV Max. You get access to the full HTC channel lineup, live, local, and national channels, plus cool features like on-demand, cloud DVR, replay and restart TV.
Ditch the DVR and save. Call 843-369-8967 today.
HTC. This is life. Connect with it.
A couple of years ago, we took our Inside Out cameras down to Chapee, which is in Georgetown County, and we visited with SC Cares. Skip and Cindy had such love for their animals, but sadly they had to close the farm due to cancer issues with both of them. And so they have written a book. Cindy has written a book, but I think she had a little help from Skip in the background. But she wrote a book about all the wonderful animals she came in contact with. It's an endearing book, and you're going to want to get it. Meet Cindy Hedrick. Cindy, closing the farm had to be the hardest thing you ever did. They were your children.
Yes, it was. It was really, and I've been through a lot in my life in these 57 years, but it was the most difficult thing that I have ever had to go through.
Well, they were.
Saying goodbye to each of them as we placed them, and they all went to different places, and just hoping and worrying that they'd be okay. And just the fact that I could not, talk to them in my words to tell them what was happening and why this was going on. That was the worst part of it all.
Sure. Yeah, it would be like anything when you can't say to them, there's a reason for this. It's not that I don't love you anymore.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, you're going to have me crying already because I love animals
well,
and I know you do too. And having been down there watching you with the birds and the foxes and the turtles and everything, I mean, they were all your children. So when I heard you had to close the farm, it was very, very sad. Well, so let's take it from sad to funny. What was the funniest animal incident you had?
Well, I mean, there were a lot of things that made me laugh through the years and 13 years of being here and meeting all these different animals, but probably realizing, and it was not only funny, it was actually a benefit, probably realizing that we could actually burp a turkey.
What? And why would you want to?
Well, honestly, he was an older turkey, he was overweight, and when he would eat, his crop would just so the crop was placed right under their necks where the food goes to start digestion. Well, it would just get so big and so fluffed out, and we just didn't know what was going on, and he would seem uncomfortable. And so one day as we were hugging him, we realized if we hugged around him and kind of pulled up a little bit, he would belch. He would just belch out like any of the best people with, having a beer or something. And then you could tell immediately that he felt better. So it was just, that was probably the most shocking and funny experience.
Did you have to continually burp him after he ate all the time then? Oh, wow.
We did. We certainly did.
I'm not going to ask you who your favorite was because we all know when you have children, you love them all. But what was one of the most memorable experiences you had? Something that maybe was even magical with an animal?
Well, yes, it was definitely magical. We rescued a horse called Fortitude. Well, we named him Fortitude. He had been standing alone outside in the weather, hot and cold, no proper food, no clean water, tied to a stake, and he was just in unbelievably bad. But the first night after we got him set up, I just wanted to go out and check on him just to make sure, because he was in a new place, and I was worried he'd be scared or, at least nervous or upset. So I walked out in the dark with a flashlight, and once I got to him and I got in there, I started talking to him, just telling him he would never have to worry about food anymore or clean water, and that we loved him and that we would take care of him for the rest of his time. And I wrapped my arms around his neck, and that horse actually put his head across my neck as if that was his only way that he could hug me too. And that was the most amazing thing, to know that he understood that we loved him and that he appreciated
And you rescued him.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, he knew that. He could tell.
Yes.
I can't take anymore.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I can just picture it because I've been to the farm and I've seen your love. And having seen this picture we have here of Fortitude, you can see he needed love. Tell me about Mayo.
Oh, Mayo. Oh, my goodness. We got a call about, and I kid you not, the lady called and said there's a cat on top of the fence and he has a jar stuck on his head. And we were like, what? We thought it was a joke. Skip and I grab a ladder, we grab what we thought we might need, a carrier, gloves, and we go out to help this cat. And it took several times to actually catch the cat, but because he must have been feral, or the fact that he had a manage jar stuck on his head and he was having a hard time breathing could have been part of it as well. But so we finally did get him in the crate, and then by the time we got him here, got him settled down, got him set up with food and water and a litter box, he was such a loving cat. I mean, it took all we had to get that jar off his head.
I bet.
So he could actually breathe.
Hence the name Mayo. It just hit me.
Exactly.
People are going to love the book, Cindy. I want you to tell everyone where they can go and buy the book. It's a beautiful gift for people. Anyone who loves animals will love this book. How can we get one?
Okay. Well, anyone can send me an email, or it's also available at Sweetie's on Front Street, and also at my sister's books in Litchfield, and also where my author is at Artworks at Litchfield Exchange. And I have to thank Linda and her crew for all they've done to make this possible.
Isn't it beautiful? Look at that book. I thank you, Cindy, and I look forward to seeing you and Skip. Prayers to both of you dealing with cancer.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
There will be better days and rainbows for you, I know.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, honey.
We're staying positive.
God bless you.
For allowing me to share my story.
Tales from SC Cares. Get that book. Just around the corner, we've got the scoop on blueberries from the Bluefield Blueberry Farm.
As fellow community members, HTC believes in helping friends and neighbors protect what matters most. With integrated home technology, I can control my home and security system from my smartphone. HTC Security makes my job easier and keeps my world running smoothly. No matter where the day takes me, HTC brings reliable, world-class security right here to Horry and Georgetown counties, because you are here, and so are we.
Upgrade your security with a video doorbell from HTC.
HTC. This is life. Connect with it.
This segment of Inside Out is brought to you by Magnolia's at 26th for good old-fashioned Southern comfort food, where Mama eats.
Welcome to Loris, South Carolina. We are in the middle of the Bluefield Blueberry Farm. And here in Loris, well, it looks like we're budding just a little bit, but keep in mind this show is being taped the middle of March in order to air in April. So you know that in just a couple of weeks, we're gonna see some magnificent blueberries. I want you to meet Bruce McLean. Bruce is fairly new to Horry County. And Bruce, I wanna know a little bit about your history with Clemson Extension.
Thank you, Diane. I've been with Clemson Extension going on 2 years now. And so I work with commercial fruit and vegetable growers in Horry, Marion, Dillon, and Marlboro counties. So all commercial fruit and vegetable production and nut production as well, pecan production.
That's a big area that you've got.
Yes.
And you told me you live up in Bladenboro.
I do. I still stay over in across the state line up in North Carolina, and so you know it's large blueberry area, so you know I guess that pertains to where we're at right now in the blueberry field.
I have been here before. I interviewed the Edwards family many years ago, and this was their passion. And now they've got Will Duncan running it.
Yes, and Will has he's been managing it and running it for 3 to 4 years now, and he's really just bringing the farm back to a level of productivity and really trying to, and also planting new fields as well.
There's no doubt that this is a bigger operation than probably people think.
Yes.
Here in Loris, I mean, but you find Bluefield blueberries in the grocery stores all around town.
Absolutely, they are locally available. Very good product. It's and also supporting a local grower.
So when will blueberries be in their prime, weather permitting?
Ideally, we come in as far as local blueberries. Come in about May, and they're available really into July easily. Sometimes weather permitting, and as long as it's not too hot, we may actually be able to produce them right on into August.
So this is not a pick-your-own farm. These people pick these blueberries and ship them out.
Absolutely, this is not you pick. It is a pick and ship type operation.
How about the weather? The rains, the end of February, beginning of March, did that have a serious effect, good or bad, here on the blueberries?
With the blueberries in particular, the biggest challenge was actually being able to manage the blueberries in the field. When the fields are really, really wet, tractors will get stuck, and so you don't want to cause any more damage than what you're actually trying to fix.
You mentioned that you work with all different types of fruits, but I would imagine that this has got to be one of your favorites, especially since you're from Bladenboro and they have lots of blueberries up there. Yes. But I have found that when I buy blueberries, they freeze well, and that's one reason I love them, not to mention they're really good for you.
Absolutely, they do freeze very well. And after some time in the freezer, you really don't think about or really consider using them into fresh recipes or eating them fresh. After a few months after freezing, but then you can use them in pies, or you can use them in like blueberry crisp or blueberry cheesecake and things like that.
Bruce, tell me about how the pandemic has affected the farmers of our community.
When the pandemic first hit. And back in, I guess it was really, about March when we saw that this was becoming a serious issue. One big challenge is that some of the contracts that were out there, like school food programs, that basically came to a halt. And so a lot of the contracts that were out there, a lot of the growers that were growing for things like the school food program, it put them in uncertain times, not really knowing where their crops were going or anything else. To begin with, it really caused them some significant problems early on as far as having to adjust and trying to find other markets.
So you mentioned how the weather has affected blueberries, but what about the rest of the summer crops?
It really has complicated a lot of things. It's all of this rain has really prevented a lot of soil prep, field prep from being done. And so what we need sunny, just like we're having right now. We need a little breeze. We need some warmer temperatures to really help try to dry out this soil. And so it'll allow farmers to really be able to get into the field, go ahead and prep the field, get everything bedded and ready to start planting.
Well, Bruce, thank you so very much. I do wish we could just pluck off a blueberry and taste it, but that will come in another month or so. And we want to remind everyone, when you're buying veggies or buying fruits, make sure that you buy local. Buy from our local farmers markets. And most importantly, when you're going for blueberries, make it Bluefield. And they came from Loris. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Diane.
Have a great summer.
You too.
Coming up, find out about a new family activity, disc golf. Proper serving, proper distancing. We're into safety at Magnolia's. Our staff now plates your food with all your favorite choices from the buffet, salad bar, and dessert bar, and it's still all you can eat. There's also breakfast, evening, and an expanded Sunday buffet. Mama says she can't cook it that cheap. Plus, the kids will love the yummy ice cream machine. Magnolia's, good old Southern comfort food. It's where Mama eats.
Join the Long Bay Symphony as they present Classical Mystery Tour, a tribute to the Beatles. Live, outdoors at the Myrtle Beach Pelican Stadium on Saturday, May 7th at 7 p.m. From the early days to the solo years, it's the best of the Beatles. Live, outdoors. For tickets, go to longbaysymphony.com or call the Myrtle Beach Pelicans ticket office at 843-918-6000.
I'm here at a place known as Splinter City, and it's in Myrtle Beach, at Market Common, the former Myrtle Beach Air Force Base. I want you to meet Dustin Jordan, and he heads up Myrtle Beach Parks, Recreation, Tourism, and a partridge in a pear tree.
That's correct. Yeah, it's a big title, that's for sure.
Give us the official title, Dustin.
Director of Parks, Recreation, and Sports Tourism for the city of Myrtle Beach.
There you go. And sports, that's what we're talking about. Disc golf. Now, I have never heard of that before, and I drove by here one day, Dustin, and I said to my husband, what are those baskets out there? And he said, it's disc golf, one of the hottest growing sports around. Tell us more.
That is correct. Disc golf is one of, if not the most popular sport in America right now, fastest growing sport. Last I heard, according to the PDGA, which is the Professional Disc Golf Association, there's about 7,000 courses in the United States now. We're here at Splinter City, which is the first and only course in the city limits of Myrtle Beach.
I think it might be the only course around. I haven't never even heard of this in our community. Are there more?
There's a few courses. The county has another course over in Socastee.
Really?
There's a course in the Garden City area, course in Conway, so there's a few around.
I need to get out more, don't you think, Dustin?
Yes.
Dustin, first let's talk about Splinter City. Why that name?
Well, Splinter City is a nod to the rich military history here in the area. A lot of people probably think Splinter City comes from all of the trees here in the disc golf course. That is actually not true. Splinter City was a nickname given to the Air Force Base back in the early days because the barracks, the hospital, the offices, all of the buildings were built of wood. So the locals and I guess the people here at the base called it Splinter City.
Let's talk about the partnership that exists, though, between the city and the county, and that was very impressive to me when I read about it.
Yeah, so this area, the land is actually owned by the county. The way it started for the city was the director of the county's Parks and Rec, Paul McCullough, called me and said, hey, we've got this land here at the Air Force Base across from Warbird Park. It's about 88 acres in total. The disc golf course sits on about 25 acres of that. But he said, you know, we're thinking about building a disc golf course. Since that land is in the city limits of Myrtle Beach, what do you think about partnering up? For us, it was a no-brainer. It's something that we had wanted to do for many years. So that's how it happened.
Now, how is this game played? I mean, looks like some wild contraption.
Yeah, so disc golf is played much like traditional ball golf, which is obviously widely popular here in Myrtle Beach. The obvious difference is instead of hitting a ball into a hole, you're throwing a disc into the target. So for different shots, there's different discs. You have your drivers and mid-ranges and putters, and you count your strokes as the amount of throws it takes you to get from the tee box to in the basket.
So you just keep throwing until you get it in here or in here?
Correct. So theoretically, you'll hit the chains and they kind of catch the disc and then it'll fall into the basket.
How many people can play the game at one time, Dustin?
As many as you would like. There's not really any limit. Obviously, the bigger groups will play a little bit slower than if you're playing yourself. You know, if one person wants to come out and play, they can run through the 18 holes pretty quickly, and then the larger groups take a little more time, just like your traditional ball golf.
I guess that it's a great game, too, for families because little ones can play as well as the big ones.
That's correct. It's an excellent game for little ones. Very low investment to get into. Discs are anywhere from $10 or $12 to $20 or $25 a piece, and really you can get started with as little as 1 or 2 discs. So very little investment. Not much of a learning curve to do it. It's as simple as being able to throw a Frisbee. So it's very easy to get into.
And I would guess that a lot of people who come out here to play think that they can rent the discs because just like when you go to play putt-putt, you know, you get your gear. But you need to come out here with your discs, right?
That is correct. At this course, you have to bring your own equipment. There are some local shops, some in Conway and one right up the street here that you can buy discs. But we don't have any staff and the county doesn't have any staff on site to rent those, so you would need to bring your own when you come.
Now I hear too, Dustin, that there is a local club and that's really amping up the sport.
Absolutely. The Myrtle Beach Disc Golf Club is our local club here in Myrtle Beach. We're very appreciative of these guys. They are really our local experts. These guys are really the ones that approached me first back in 2018, looking for the opportunity to build a course in the city. At that time, I was very interested, but obviously land in the city of Myrtle Beach is very hard to come by, and we didn't have the land to do it. So at that time, you know, throughout probably 2 years after that, we had a lot of conversations. Really didn't go anywhere because of the land. And then when the county approached me, you know, with the land, that's when it was a no-brainer for us.
Dustin, it sounds like this is an all-season sport.
Absolutely, yeah. The course here is open 365 all season long, so it's really your comfort level. If the weather is good enough for you to come out and play, it's open.
Well, since spring is here, let's plug some of the other wonderful activities that are available through Myrtle Beach Parks and Rec.
Sure, we have a lot of great activities. Obviously, springtime is the perfect weather to get out and enjoy all of our parks, our beaches, our indoor recreation centers. We have pickleball and fitness and yoga classes going year-round. Youth sports are ramping up, baseball, basketball. We also have a lot of outdoor activities. We have the mountain bike trail, dog parks, which are both close to here. And then we're launching some kayaking classes and kayaking trips. So that's something new coming this spring and summer that we're really excited about.
Well, if you're looking for something exciting to do this spring and summer with the family, and as we said, for all year long, get some discs and come on out and play at Splinter City at the Market Common. Thanks, Dustin.
Thank you.
I sure don't want any red bugs in my hair from this Spanish moss, if you know what I mean. Next month on Inside Out, we're going to visit Conway, the Anderson family farm, where we're going to pick some strawberries in season, among other topics, of course. And it's always fun to take this adventure with you going inside and out of Horry and Georgetown counties. And so with that, let me say, I'll see you in May.
Inside Out is presented by HTC. This is Life. Connect with it. And Magnolia's at 26th for good old-fashioned Southern comfort food where Mama eats. Along with the McGuire Law Firm. Be kind today and tomorrow.